Use video training series number 1. This is video 3 of 6 titled The Self-Parenting Poem Exercise and SMA, Self-Mastery Assignment. Namaste. My name is Master Coach Yu, and as I mentioned in the intro videos, the first series of videos will focus on self-parenting mastery and boundary mastery. And this particular video is the last in the series of self-parenting videos. My hope is that you'll invest the time to study, practice, internalize, and most importantly, emotionalize these exercises and lessons so you can help your clients create self-mastery life skills needed for them to feel safe, sane, and secure in the world. Again, please note that every videos are summary nutshells, otherwise they have to be hours long. So if you want additional information, just call the office at 888-HLC-0878. That's 888-HLC-0878. Or visit my school's website at www.holisticlearningcenter.com. Okay. On with the show. But before I begin, I'd like to ask you a question. What's the difference? Because I've always asked this question. What's the difference between inner child work and self-parenting work? Legitimate question. Inner child work is self-parenting what arithmetic is to algebra. Self-parenting takes the inner child work and integrates it into clinically proven coaching exercises that breaks down self-nurturing into a step-by-step, specific set of emotionally intimate exercises that will fulfill your client's emotional dependency needs that were not met when they were little babies, little kids, So let me tee up the exercise just the way I would if I was working with a client. And I'm going to call the client Susie, all right? So, of course, I'd have Susie turn to page 69 and read what self-parenting is, so on and so forth, and have her understand what the benefits are and the concepts. And then I'd bring her to this exercise. And this self-parenting poem is based on the pain and pleasure principle of motivation. The pain and pleasure principle of motivation. So if you're a coach or any kind of holistic practitioner, why are you hired? You're hired to help them create what? The permanent behavioral changes that they seek. So the self-parenting poem is based on the pain and pleasure principle of motivation, meaning that every paragraph that the client reads will tell them the pleasure that they'll receive if they do self-parenting exercises and the pain that they'll have to hold on to and not transcend or discreate. So this piece is done minutically, of course. I mean, I'm going to read it here with you, but you would be not reading it if you're the practitioner. But if you're playing the role of the client, you would be reading it. Now, it's important when you do read the let's get some quantum physics into this, that this emotional passion is a big deal to help you create the permanent behavioral change because it changes the neural pathways faster. The brain wave sections, the old habits in the brain. Why? Well, what is electromagnetic energy? Right? What is passion but electromagnetic energy? Electricity. So the more electricity you pump in. So remember like the rah-rah, I feel great, I feel great. There's actually some truth to it. So let's say if you said to somebody, let's change the vibrational energy. I love you. Or if you said, wow, you're an adult of God. I really love you. I honor you. You see how that vibration is different? And also if you said, I love you, I love you, I love you. Now, or I said, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's just electricity. And the more that's pumped in. So when you have your client read this in first person because of the maieutic method, they need to do it with as much passion as possible. And they usually do. They don't have much of a resistance to doing it. And then the last thing you're going to say to them is, I want to know when you're done reading, which one of these pain and pleasure principles resonated with the most power for you. And you can pick any one you want, Miss Client, except for the last paragraph, because it's so generically perfect, everyone would pick it. Any questions? Then they'll ask me if there are or not. The main thing I want to make sure is they read in first person and they read with electricity because it makes a difference beyond their conscious understanding. Okay? So what I'm going to do is role play that as if I am the client now, right? So we'll begin at the beginning of the self-parenting poem. If I don't learn how to fulfill my emotional dependency needs, then I'll never feel safe, sane, and secure in the world, for I'll always have to look to others to tell me who I am. If I don't expect emotional intimacy, I am saying I'm okay with you being emotionally distant from me, and I'll distance myself for fear of rejection. If I demonstrate unconditional love for myself and I'm showing people that I'm not worthy of receiving love nor the benefit of the doubt. If I don't demand respect, I give people permission to treat me disrespectfully, for I teach people how to treat me by the way I treat myself. Hang on there. Where am I? There we go. Sorry for that. If I don't use my adult powers, I'll fall prey to my own childlike ego defenses, and the walls I build will keep out the love I seek. If I don't maturely defend my boundaries with my adult powers, then people will trespass me, just as they did when I was a powerless child. If I don't give myself permission to be myself, then people will mold me into who they want me to be, taking me further away from the light of my real self and closer to the darkness of my persona, which means mask. If I don't learn how to validate and release my feelings, then my feelings will create dis-ease within me. For a dis-ease is a perfect creation, a negative feeling made manifest. If I beat myself up when I act out with less than perfect behavior, then I'm affirming that I am my behavior and not an adult of God. If I'm not willing to practice my self-parenting skills until they become a part of my consciousness, then when life tests me, I'll attempt to protect myself with immature, childlike, ego-based methods. If I don't respond with ability to make my life emotionally, sexually, and physically safe, sane, and secure, then I'll live a life of quiet desperation, comfortable in my uncomfortableness, and fearful of life's opportunities, unable to fulfill my divine birthright, a life worthy of an adult of God. So at this point, I'd ask Susie, Susie, which paragraph, and she would read it. Then I'd go through a series of minute questions and go in deeper and deeper into the thing behind the thing behind the thing of why that resonated the most with her. Then she'll get a homework assignment in SMA that she breaks down each one of these paragraphs and gives examples thereof. This then gives you kind of like a roadmap or diagnostic testing or an x-ray of really where you need to go so that the client's case history is directing what exercises in the hundreds and hundreds of exercises we go in. In the next video, I will share the information about boundary mastery to lay this foundation. Again, remember that every video is a summary nutshells, otherwise they would have to be hours long. So again, if you want additional information, it's not a big deal. Just call the office at 888-HLC-0878 or visit my school's website at www.holisticlearningcenter.com. Namaste.